Today's video focuses on a breaking and deeply significant development in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. As reported by WION Live, a Russian army general has been killed in detonated, Moscow after an explosive device detonated beneath his vehicle, sending shockwaves through Russia's military and political establishment. According to initial reports, the explosion occurred while the senior military official was traveling in his car. Investigators believe an explosive device had been deliberately planted under the vehicle, indicating a targeted and well-planned attack. The blast completely destroyed the car and led to the general's death on the spot. Emergency services quickly secured the area, while forensic teams began examining debris to determine the exact type of explosive used. Russian authorities have confirmed the death and launched a full-scale criminal investigation. While official statements remain cautious, the incident is being treated as an assassination rather than an accident. Security agencies are reviewing surveillance footage, tracking potential suspects, and examining how such a high-ranking military figure could be targeted in the heart of the capital. This killing is especially significant because it strikes at the core of Russia's military leadership. High-ranking generals are rarely targeted so directly, particularly inside Moscow, where security is typically tight. The attack raises serious questions about internal security, intelligence failures, and the vulnerability of senior officials amid the prolonged war. Analysts suggest this incident could mark a major escalation in covert operations linked to the conflict. If confirmed as a targeted assassination, it may signal a shift toward more direct attacks on military leadership rather than only battlefield engagements. Such developments could increase tensions further and prompt harsher security measures across Russia. The timing of the attack is also critical. It comes as discussions about the war, security guarantees, and military strategies dominate international headlines. The death of a senior general could impact command structures, morale within the armed forces, and future operational decisions. Russian officials have not publicly assigned blame, but speculation is already spreading. Some commentators point to foreign intelligence involvement, while others raise the possibility of internal sabotage or resistance-linked networks. At this stage, no group has claimed responsibility, and authorities urge caution against drawing conclusions prematurely. International reactions are being closely watched. Events like this reinforce concerns about how far the conflict may spread beyond active battle zones. The incident underscores how the war's consequences are no longer confined to front lines, but increasingly visible in major cities and centers of power. Satidar. What makes this incident even more alarming is the psychological impact it may have on Russia's military leadership. The assassination of a senior general sends a clear message that even top officials are not beyond reach. Such an event can deeply affect morale within the ranks, forcing commanders and policymakers to rethink personal security and daily movement protocols. Reports indicate that security around key military figures has already been tightened following the blast. Convoys, route changes, and increased intelligence monitoring are expected to become routine. This shift could slow decision-making processes and add pressure to an already strained command structure during wartime operations. From a strategic perspective, the killing could disrupt ongoing military planning. Senior generals play a critical role in coordinating large-scale operations, logistics, and battlefield strategy. The sudden loss of such a figure may create temporary confusion or leadership gaps, even if replacements are swiftly appointed. There is also growing discussion about whether this incident reflects a broader pattern. In recent months, there have been multiple reports of attacks, sabotage, and mysterious incidents involving Russian military or infrastructure targets. While each case differs, together they suggest an expanding shadow war operating alongside the conventional conflict. The Kremlin now faces a difficult balancing act. On one hand, it must project strength and control to avoid appearing vulnerable. On the other, it must address genuine security failures that allowed such an attack to happen in Moscow. How authorities respond publicly and operationally will shape both domestic perception and international reactions. Globally, this incident reinforces fears that the conflict is entering a more unpredictable phase. As pressure mounts on all sides, the use of covert tactics, targeted strikes, and intelligence-driven operations may increase. This raises the risk of escalation and miscalculation, especially when attacks occur far from active battle zones. For now, investigators continue to piece together the events leading up to the explosion. Questions remain about who planted the device, how long it had been there, and whether the general was specifically tracked beforehand. Each answer could reveal critical insights into the evolving nature of the conflict. As the situation unfolds, one thing is clear. This killing marks a stark reminder that the war's reach is expanding, and its consequences are becoming more personal and more direct for those at the highest levels of power. Another key aspect drawing attention is how this incident may influence public opinion inside Russia. News of a senior general being killed, so close to the center of power, challenges the long-held perception of absolute security within the capital. Even with limited official details, such events often spread rapidly through social media and informal channels, fueling uncertainty and speculation among the public. State media is expected to carefully frame the narrative, emphasizing investigation efforts and resilience rather than vulnerability. At the same time, authorities may use the incident to justify stricter security laws, expanded surveillance, and tighter controls in major cities. Historically, moments like these often lead to broader internal security crackdowns. For military analysts, the method of attack is just as important as the target. A vehicle-based explosive suggests detailed planning, intelligence gathering, and access. This raises questions about how information on the general's movements may have been obtained, and whether there were lapses within protective services. Even a small failure at this level can have far-reaching consequences. There is also concern about potential retaliation. If Russian authorities determine the attack was carried out by external actors or linked networks, it could trigger counter-operations beyond Russia's borders. Such responses may not be immediate, but they could shape future actions in the conflict. Diplomatically, this development adds another layer of tension to already fragile international relations. Allies and adversaries alike will be watching closely to see how Russia responds, both publicly and behind the scenes. Any escalation could affect negotiations, military aid decisions, and broader geopolitical alignments. As more details emerge, the identity of the general, his role within the military hierarchy, and his recent responsibilities may provide clues about why he was targeted. Whether this was symbolic, strategic, or personal remains a critical question. Ultimately, this incident highlights how the nature of modern conflict is evolving. Battles are no longer limited to defined front lines, and the distinction between war zones and civilian spaces continues to blur. The killing of a senior military figure in such a manner underscores the growing complexity and danger surrounding this ongoing war. The world now waits for official findings, knowing that each confirmed detail could reshape understanding of the conflict's next phase. As the investigation moves forward, attention is also turning toward the broader security environment within Russia. The ability to carry out such an attack suggests a level of operational sophistication that authorities cannot ignore. Whether this points to an organized network or a highly skilled individual operation remains one of the most pressing questions. Experts note that incidents like this often lead to internal reviews within military and intelligence agencies. Command structures may be reassessed, protective protocols rewritten, and personnel reshuffled. While these measures aim to restore confidence, they also reveal the strain placed on institutions during prolonged conflict. There is also the issue of symbolism. Targeting a high-ranking general is not only a tactical act, but a psychological one. It sends a signal intended to resonate far beyond the immediate damage, influencing decision-makers and shaping perceptions of control and stability. Such symbolism can be just as powerful as battlefield outcomes. International observers are comparing this incident to similar attacks in other conflicts, where targeted killings marked turning points. In many cases, They preceded intensified covert operations, increased intelligence activity, and a shift in how wars were fought behind the scenes. Whether this moment becomes a turning point remains to be seen. Meanwhile, families of military personnel and officials are likely feeling the impact on a personal level. Heightened fear, uncertainty, and restricted movement often follow events like this, further humanizing the cost of ongoing conflict even for those far from the front lines. As official silence continues on key details, speculation will inevitably grow. However, analysts caution that early assumptions can be misleading. The full picture may take weeks or even months to emerge, especially if authorities choose to limit public disclosures. What remains undeniable is that this incident has added a new layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. It reinforces the reality that modern conflicts extend beyond conventional warfare and into intelligence battles, psychological pressure, and symbolic strikes. As developments continue to unfold, the world watches closely, aware that the consequences of this single explosion may reverberate far beyond the streets of Moscow and influence the trajectory of the conflict itself.